Well, good morning. I'm Barb W, and I am going to present plastic alternatives to you. This is a topic that has become very important to me. I know all of us with climate change and the way things are going with the environment, we want to do more. And I've been working hard to find different ways to make plastic less of a thing in our home than it has been over the last couple of decades. A couple things before I start. Some of you watching this may wonder about the change of my clothing. We did videotape this on Sunday and there was a technical difficulty, so we are videotaping this again. So thanks for bearing with us on this. Also, there are several video clips that I would like you to watch before this. So if you haven't watched those video clips, stop this video right now and go into YouTube. Under the description for this video, you'll find the video clips for this. And those are really good preparatory information before you begin this workshop with me. So I really encourage you to watch those. Do know that I'm not an expert in this topic. I just have an interest, and I've just been slowly each week learning about one more thing and gaining information. So I'm sure that a lot of you know more than I do. I'm always wanting your information. So if you have anything I can add to this presentation or the handout that I can email you, or you could probably get off the YouTube, please do so, because that helps all of us learn. I am not endorsing any of these companies. I'm not getting paid for anything that I'm presenting to you. I'm not getting products. I just think that there's some better ways to do things than going into the grocery store and just automatically picking up what's on the shelf. So I wanted to present to you things that I have found. One place you'll hear me mention is a store called Tear Market. Tear Market is in South Minneapolis. And when you tear a substance, you may remember this from your science class, you take a jar that's empty, you put it on a scale, and you tear the scale or zero it out, so that when you are paying for the substance inside of it, you're paying for just that. You're not paying for the jar again. And the Tear Market is a package-free store, so you'll hear me mention that quite a bit with this. And I encourage you to look in your area. You may find that there are some package-free stores close to you. And I think from there we'll jump in. In one of the videos you'll find that the history of plastic. And we know that plastic's been around for more than 100 years, but it really wasn't used in the home or for single-use products until after World War II. After a lot of plastics were being used during the war, and when the war was over, the plastic companies wanted to continue their business, and so they went looking for other places, and they began to look at items in the home. And I remember my mom coming home. It was in the 1960s, not after World War II, but she was so excited to have found a plastic bottle of baby shampoo, because she wouldn't have to have that glass bottle in the bathroom anymore, and we kids wouldn't be getting cut on broken glass. So there has been a lot of good things that have come from plastic, but maybe we're overusing it just a bit too much. So my journey began, honestly, not with wanting to reduce plastic. It was actually about reducing money. My husband and I moved into our home in 1990, and our daughter was a year old. And I remember standing in the kitchen, and it was, boxes everywhere, and it was dirty from moving, and it was 9 o'clock at night, and I wanted to just clear off one counter space so that when our daughter got up in the morning, I could get breakfast for her, we could get moving with very little fuss. And I wanted to clean the counter, and we were out of paper towels. And so I thought, well, do I send my husband to the grocery store at 9 o'clock at night for paper towels? And he happened to walk into the kitchen at that very moment carrying a box labeled rags. And he said, "Where should we store these rags?" And I'm like, "Where should we store these rags?" And it's like, wait a minute. Why am I storing rags? Why am I not using these rags? So we grabbed the rags, washed the counter, everything was good. And so that made me begin to think, why am I buying paper towels when I can be using rags? That would save me some money. So we did that. So we really haven't purchased paper towels since 1990. Now, at about the same time, I'm like, well, I wonder if there's something else I can use that I don't have to buy every time I go to the grocery store, and that's paper napkins. I had a whole drawer of napkins that I'd been given as lovely wedding gifts just sitting there. And so we decided to use some of those for our everyday so they get washed. And when one of them, and I will admit that I ironed my napkins for my company, but I don't iron my napkins for my family. They just get the wrinkled ones that are in the drawer. When those become too worn, or a good napkin becomes too worn, it becomes a family napkin, and then a family napkin becomes a rag. And then we use those as long as possible. The only time that I throw rags away are when I've used something with oil in them because I don't want to wash that in my washing machine. So napkins get quite a long use in our home. So that was the second thing that we haven't used in about 30 years. And then the third thing is trash bags, because I was having a hard time going to the grocery store and buying a box of bags for the sole intent of throwing them away. So we decided to be thoughtful about how we threw away messy trash, and we just simply wash our garbage cans after we use them every week. Now, of course, I don't dump old spaghetti into a trash can or throw an unused cantaloupe or something like that into the trash. I might package it in some other trash, or I put things out in my compost bin. One of the other videos you might have seen is about a product called Lomi. They're coming up with this product that is a machine that sits in your home. I think it's about this big. And you throw all of your organics in it, and it will compost it in 24 hours and turn it into something you can either put in your plants or outside back in nature without all of that icky trash or the organic trash going off to our landfills. The problem with organic trash in our landfills is it does create methane gas, which again adds to our whole climate change. So it's best to keep as much of that out of there as possible. So I'd like to show you some of the products I've come up with. And I decided instead of going in the order that I found them, I'd go room by room. Much easier for me to think that way. And so I'm starting in the kitchen. And the first thing that I had thought about is how do I store food, because I didn't want to buy plastic wrap or saran wrap or use tin foil as much as I had been. So if something can be stored in my Tupperware that I have, I still use that. Or if I have a big salad and I don't have a larger container for it, I simply take a dinner plate and put that on the top of it and put that in the refrigerator. And that actually creates another shelf that you can put something on top too. So you can always just cover a dish with another dish. Another thing that I like to use are beeswax wraps. And you can buy these. They're about 2 for $20, which is a bit pricey. Or you can make them yourself. And it's simply a piece of cotton with beeswax melted, and I put parchment paper over it with an iron and simply melt it, and then I have a beeswax wrap. And so it works by simply taking like an apple you've cut up or maybe a jar of something, and you simply use the beeswax on the wrap to hold that on, and that will stay in your fridge. I wouldn't use this on something messy like a lasagna or peanut butter. I would use it on something that I can simply wash with cool soapy water. And remember, it's beeswax, so you don't want to use hot water. Learn from me. Hot water will simply melt the wax off, and then you've lost that in your sink. Also, I had thought, I'll cover my jar of sun tea with this and put it outside in the sun, which did not make sense either because of the wax dripped down my pitchers. So again, learn from me, don't do those things. But it is a nice way to wrap something without using a plastic bag.
I have a question.
Yep.
So why do we not want to use tin foil as much?
It is, how do I say this? You have to recycle it. It's fine. But, and you'll see in the videos, only between 9 and 15% of what we put in our recycling is recycled. So we're actually throwing that 85% of the time we're throwing our tin foil into the landfill. So the less we can use, the better it is. So that was a really good question. Thank you. Reducing our recycling is really important. Absolutely. Another thing that I've used in the kitchen, which I had just found, is from a company called Blue Land, and it is a sponge made entirely from plant. The top is made from loofah. The bottom is made from cellulose, and the cute little tag is made from a cotton. So I have found these to work great. I've been able to scrub every single pan in my kitchen except one where I had a little burning accident. Couldn't quite get it all off. But these worked really well. I have one in the bathroom, one downstairs, one for the floor. And when this is done, when I've worn it out, I can simply throw this into my compost bin because it is 100% plant. So that's really nice. Most sponges you buy at the store are made from a type of petroleum. Another thing that I use is dish soap. And the dish soap that I'm using right now is from a company called, this one's from Blue Land also. It comes in a package that looks like this. The package is 100% compostable too. So I simply dump it into a jar and put some of the powder into the water and it suds up beautifully. A lot of companies have dish soap. Some of it suds well, some of it doesn't. Quite honestly, the sudsing of dish soap is really more for advertising and saying, oh, isn't this a great product because it makes all this suds, but suds don't clean your dishes. The saponification of the water is what does it. So even if you put the soap in and there aren't suds, you're still washing your dishes well. I also use dishwasher soap. Looks like this. Again, comes in this package and works really well, also from Blue Land. I have also gotten a lot of products from a company called Clean Cult. Their packaging looks like this, cardboard box. I believe you can put that in your compost bin. I have to do a little more research on that, but I do know that it is recyclable. I should mention something on recycling that Sharon Plimeling came up with. She mentioned that she found a chart online with all the different symbols that we see on our products that have the triangle with the number. And she pointed out that some of those symbols stand for the fact that it's made from recycled material, but it cannot be recycled. It has to be recycled in a certain way. So she's going to send me that, and I will also post that so you can begin to learn what the symbols mean on the different products that you buy. For cleaning, glass cleaner, I found at Target that they're starting to carry a company called Grove Company, and they package their cleaner in small glass bottles with a metal top. And I take this and I pour it into an old bottle, and then I fill the rest of it up with water because most of our cleaning products are water. And this has worked just as well as the name brand products that you might think of. So there is that. Those are available at Target or online. For my all-purpose cleaner, again, it comes from a company called Clean Cult. I simply pour this into the bottle. You'll find that a lot of the companies have bottles that you can buy. You can either purchase their bottle or reuse one that you have in your counter or in your cupboard. Again, this works really well, and the package is recyclable, and I think it's compostable, but I have to check on that. So that's for cleaning that I have for the home. The other thing I wanted to mention is food products, and this is the newest thing I've been getting in, is trying to buy as much food as I can that does not have any packaging. And the Terra Market in South Minneapolis, as I mentioned, is a great place to go. I have bought spices. This is turmeric, peanut butter, brown sugar, dried fruit, olive oil. And I bring all of these jars in with me empty. And I've been saving all of my jars. So like this old spice jar, I'll take this with me today because I need some cinnamon. But you can find different flours, sugars, grains, pastas, beans, granola. There's some sweets, chocolate chips, and a lot of different products in there. And so I encourage you to go there or any other place where you can buy in bulk and use your own containers. And at first I was a little timid, like, how do I do this? And so I made a list of 3 things. I needed brown sugar, face lotion, and shampoo. And so I went in just thinking, okay, I'm going to see what I can do with these 3 things. And I found brown sugar, and I found my face lotion. I walked in with a bottle of that, and then what was the other one? Shampoo. I found a shampoo bar there. And I just learned how the store worked. And once I did that, it made it a lot easier. And so I can make my grocery list and think, what can I buy that has no package? And I'm really impressed with this store. And one day the clerk asked if I found everything I was looking for, and I said, I really needed some red wine vinegar. And she said, oh, a lot of people have asked for that. Don't worry, we'll have it at our new store. And I said, oh, great, where's your new store going to be? She said, in Northeast Minneapolis. And I could hear my heart jump like, oh, yay. We live north. A lot of the people who go to church here live in the north area, and it'll be a lot closer for us to go shop there. So there is that idea. Okay, let's move on. We have the laundry room. The laundry room's pretty easy because it's laundry soap and dry your clothes, and it's pretty much done. I found from Clean Cult this laundry soap, which I like a lot. It smells great and it does a great job cleaning. I've also found from Blue Cult, they sell laundry tablets. They come again in a package like this. I've also made my own laundry soap, and that recipe is also included in the information that goes with this video. I learned it up at Chrysalis, the women's retreat I attend. A gal named Vicki McVean showed us how to make this, and it costs 75 cents for 2 gallons of laundry soap. It takes me about 15 minutes to make it. It's borax, Arm & Hammer super washing soda, and Fels Naphtha soap, and then you can add essential oils if you want, and it's a great soap and it works really well. When I dry my clothes, I use wool balls because they take care of the static in the dryer, so I don't need dryer sheets. It doesn't add any perfume unless you want to add essential oils to this. It works great, and it keeps your clothes agitating. So like if you've only thrown in a pair of jeans or a couple of towels, it keeps the items bouncing around so that they dry faster. Another thing that I found that I'm not sure how great it works yet, but you'll have heard about it in one of the videos. It's called a guppy bag. And many of our clothing items are made from petroleum products. There's plastic in our clothing. If you think spandex, nylon, polyester, anything like that, that's a petroleum product, and it cannot be composted. It's permanent in our environment. And what happens is when those items are washed, microbeads of plastic come off the clothing and get washed into the water system, and they cannot be filtered out. So they're actually finding those microbeads in our aquatic life. So one thing that you can do is buy a guppy bag, and I've only used this a couple times. I'm still working on how it works. But you put your items in here, like I would put all of my golf clothing in here, and zip it up, and you wash it the regular way you would. When you take this out, you should find underneath the hem of this a layer of plastic beads that you scrape out and throw it away. Now granted, you're throwing plastic into the trash, but at least it's not going into the water system. So something I am still investigating, and if anybody knows anything more about these, please let me know. But I think it's kind of an interesting idea. Okay, the bathroom. Honestly, this is where I started my journey. I wanted to start with something simple, so I started with my toothbrush and my toothpaste. I've switched to a bamboo toothbrush. Handle is obviously made of bamboo. The bristles are made of a type of bean oil, and it's 100% compostable. I've thrown 3 of these into my compost bin, and I can only find 1 of them. They have composted over time. Granted, it took winter time for that to happen. I put one in here in May, I think, and it hasn't finished composting yet, but I think over the winter it will. It needs that extra moisture. But it works great. It took me about 3 days to get used to. And then I also use a toothpaste from a company called Bite. And these are their bits. I simply take a bit and I put it in my mouth and I chew it up, get my toothbrush wet, and brush my teeth. And it works great. Just like baking soda will also do the same thing. These work really well. They also make mouthwash. Same idea. You take and chew it up in your mouth, take a drink of water, swirl it around, and you have used some mouthwash. These you can also find some of these at the Terra Market too if you want to try using those and you don't want to invest in a whole month's supply. Many of these things I should mention, I do get on subscription, so I don't have to stop and think, when do I need to reorder toothpaste? When do I need to reorder laundry soap or dish soap? I just set it up, and every few months I get a shipment. All the shipments I've ever received have come in cardboard boxes, paper tape, paper packing that either can be composted or recycled. So nothing I feel has come in unnecessary packaging. Also with shipping, none of this comes overnight. Some of these things can take 2 weeks. They use the systems that are already set up, US Mail, FedEx, UPS, and they take the least carbon footprint possible when trying to get these products out to people. So if you want something overnight, you're not going to get it, but I encourage you to take a look at that. Also with many of these companies, they also have a mission attached to them. So this company, my favorite, who gives a crap toilet paper and tissue, they take part of their profits and build toilets in areas of the world that need them. Others plant trees or clean the ocean. They all have like a mission to them. That was important to me when I was checking out these products. So the toilet paper and the tissue are made from bamboo. They are from recycled paper, and they are compostable. But I think someone told me the other day they're not recyclable anymore because they've been recycled to the point that they cannot be recycled again. They've lost the fibrous pulp, if you will, to recycle them. But I do like the fact that they are compostable. I do not compost my toilet paper, I will be quite honest with you, but I do my tissue. I also, Q-tips can be composted. Dryer lint can be composted. Vacuum, when you empty your vacuum cleaner, that can go into your compost bin too. Also, the hair from your hairbrush can also go in your compost bin. So all of those things cannot wind up in a landfill. So more with the bathroom. Our soap. We buy soap from Tony Thompson, who is a local guy here. He has Heaven Sent Soaps, and he's often at the New Hope and Golden Valley farmers markets. He lives 6 blocks from my home, so I just get on my bike and ride over and pick up 10 or 12 bars of soap from him. It's great. You can use it for shampoo. His mission is also to donate bars of soap to the homeless. When they pack backpacks for men downtown, he donates his soap. But it's a great soap. And I know most of you who watch this might not be local, so you wouldn't go to him to get soap, but look in your area. There's bound to be someone there that is making soap. So check out the locals. They could be doing that. Deodorant. I know a lot of people make their own deodorant. I haven't been that brave yet. I bought one from Humankind, and this is the refill, cardboard, and I simply take the bottom off, slip the new tube in, and my deodorant is up and running. So the outer container is permanent. I will always keep this, and this part will just be recycled, or I'm hoping they begin to make the tubes compostable, but that's what I use. Also, shampoo. Shampoo's easy, I think. Some people know, but I do. I can buy most shampoo bars. I take 1, 2, or 3 swipes on my hair, and I have a big head of lather. Conditioner bars I have a struggle with, but I'm working on that. I've tried a lot of shampoo bars, and I find the best ones are sold at Hy-Vee, and they have an area of their store called Basin. I think is it Basin? Basin. And along the back wall, they have bars of shampoo and conditioner, just like these. They have 6 different types, so you can check your hair style or what you're looking for. And with the shampoo, like I said, you just use a little bit of it and wash your hair. Now, the conditioner bars for me were tougher. They worked great for like 2 weeks, and then they began not working. And I looked at it, and I noticed that they were getting white around the edge. This should be all pink. And so I took it to the kitchen, and I cut it open, and I noticed on the inside of the bar, it is all pink. And so I thought, well, maybe the substance is settling in. So I grabbed a Pyrex container, or a Pyrex measuring dish cup, and filled it with boiling water, about 4 cups. And I took a quarter of a bar, and I threw it in there, and I just let it melt. And I swirled it around, and it made this beautiful conditioner. So I poured it in a bottle, and I figured out that a bar of conditioner that's about $8 at Hy-Vee made a good bottle and a half or more. I found I could actually keep adding water to the liquid I'd already made because it was so thick. So these bars are about $8. As I said, a bottle to a bottle and a half of shampoo or conditioner can be made from that. And if you go to Hy-Vee and you want to buy these, there's a little tag on the side that says, buy our container and fill it with 4 bars, and it's only $25, which makes a bar $6.25. So I did not take their container, but I took 4 bars up to the gal at the grocery store, and I used my bags that look like this at the store. And I said, I'm buying that deal. I just don't want your container. And she's like, fine. And I just paid $25 for 4 of them, and it was much easier. These bags, I forgot to mention, work great at the grocery store for all your veggies, your fruits. If you're buying in bulk at the grocery store or anywhere else, farmers markets, you don't have to take their plastic bags. One thing I do for the clerks at the grocery store is if they have to find a number on an apple or something like that, I just write it on my grocery list, and then I tell them the number, and then they don't have to try to look through the bag for it. So you might find these in muslin or some other type of fabric that you can't see through. That's why writing the number would help too. So back to the shampoo. The only other thing I'll mention is they are fragile bars. They don't hold up as long as a regular bar of soap. So you want to protect your bars. You may find some bamboo racks to let them dry on. Don't let them stay in the flow of water, because it'll just wash them away. And be sure to tell the rest of your family that it's a shampoo bar and not a bar of soap, because they could easily go through one of these in one washing. So make sure that you protect your bars. Yeah.
Go back, so you said when you just took a bar, like a quarter of a bar.
I did.
And you put it about 4 cups of water to make a liquid soap.
I did.
So if you really wanted a liquid soap,
Yes.
you could make it into a liquid soap.
Right. Thanks, Sheila. And actually, when my bars get too small to make them easy to use, I do throw them into an old shampoo bottle, shake it up with some water, and just get every bit of shampoo out of that bar. Yeah, definitely.
You're really stuck on I need liquid. Right?
Yeah, right. I need some liquid. So yes, definitely. A few other things that I've found at the Tear Market is Argan Oil for my hair. I realized, how do I handle the fact that there's like a little bit of left in this bottle, and I'm going to the store, but I don't want to take all of that. I realized I could have a backup bottle. I had accidentally bought a second jar or a bottle, and so one is my going to the store bottle, and then one I keep at home, and so I always have an empty bottle to take with me. I began to look at things that I was throwing away and how could I reuse them. Like I had talked about this jar or this one. This is a mask that I put on my hair, and I bought it because A, I loved the product, but B, I love the container. And so I ripped off the label, and now I can turn this into a gift, or I can store it on a shelf. Nobody would think twice about this jar. So I encourage you to begin looking at the packaging in addition to looking at the product. I also found face lotion at the Tear Market. I just took a bottle and filled it up, and I love the lotion. The nice thing about the store is all of their products, they have a label with all of the ingredients listed, so that if you're allergic to something or there's something you don't want to have, you'll know if you have that or not. The other one is my makeup. Makeup is a tough one for our gals because there's so much plastic in makeup. I will admit I use a company called Boom for women over 50, and their product comes in recyclable containers, but I'm trying to reuse these instead of just throwing it into the recycle bin. So when my stick is empty, I go to my kitchen and I take a little beeswax and a little shea butter and a little essential oil and a few other things, and I make myself a lotion bar, and I pour it into my little tubes, and then I can just rub it on my feet or on my elbows, and it's, again, a way to use these. So I've been trying to use as much as I can of my containers. They do have mascara that's come out in a bamboo tube, which is compostable. Right now it's $28. That's pretty expensive. They are trying to figure out how to make the glass insert inside of it refillable, so that you can hang on to the bamboo tube and then add a new insert for the mascara. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, our handy dandy water bottle. I encourage you to get water bottles that can go with you anywhere and fit in your car. You're more apt to carry them with you than if you have like a great big one. Use that for refill. I have figured out that if we're traveling somewhere and we need to stop and get something to drink, we go through the drive-through and I say no lid and no straw, and they'll look at me and I'm like, yep, no lid and no straw, and I'll take their drink and I'll pour it into my water bottle so that at least I'm not contributing to as much trash as if I were to just take the cup and use it that way. Another thing that we are trying to remember to use, and I have to figure out how to remember this, is a straw, if you wanted to use a straw. And when I looked at the Terre Market, I noticed they had all these beautiful straws made of glass, and I thought, oh my gosh, knowing me, that wouldn't last very long. So I found these metal straws, and they're a little wider, which I thought, this is great because they make it easier to eat your Blizzard with. But there are straws, so I do encourage you to maybe invest in one and start using them. And the nice thing about using these is people around you, when they see you using them, they're more apt to say, hey, maybe I should do that too. And then the last thing I want to mention, or the last area I want to talk about, is if you have pets. Our new puppy, I wanted to try and do as much sustainable as possible, so I do make treats for the dog. Instead of buying all the little treats that come in those plastic bags, those pouches, it's easy to make those, and I can add the recipe if anybody wants it. It's super simple. I also found this item called pooch papers. You simply take a paper, and when you're at the park or your yard or wherever you are and you have to clean up after your dog, you just simply pick it up as you would with a plastic bag, and these are biodegradable and compostable. I would not throw this in my compost bin because you shouldn't use dog excrement or any other animal and leave that in your compost bin. It can add an unhealthy bacteria that you do not want to have. So at least this is in the right direction. The other thing that you can do, though, that my husband is still shaking his head no at, is there is a dog septic system. And what you basically do is dig a 4-foot hole, and you buy this canister that has a lid, and the canister has holes at the bottom of it, and you sink that into the top of the 4-foot hole. And so then when your dog goes to the bathroom, you scoop it up and you open the lid, you drop it in, and you add a gallon of water. And once a week you throw in an enzyme tablet, and that works on breaking down the bacteria that's in there, and it simply sends it back into the groundwater. Again, kind of controversial in our home, but I think I'll win out and I'll work on that. So that's for pets. I think at this point I've shared just about everything I have done so far. And I will say that these items to me are the easy things. These are the easy trades to do. I really didn't give up anything in my life. One of the things that people are encouraged to do is start refusing to buy things or refusing to use things like my clothing. Am I really ready to give up clothing that has petroleum products in it? I have to think about that. Are there other things that I'm willing to give up? So I'm at that point where I have to start really questioning when I purchase something if it is a good buy, not only economically, but environmentally. So I encourage you to share this message with your friends. It kind of reminds me of a commercial when I was a kid of a woman who had just used a new shampoo, and she was so excited that she told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and pretty soon everybody has heard the message. So I encourage you to go out and share this video, share this information, and call me if you need anything. Thanks.